We have a bunch of Nintendo Switch 2 news to talk about, including some Legend of Zelda movie news, a new Lego set for the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, and the new voice actor for Mario is surprisingly doing something interesting here. And so much more. Let's get straight into the video. Starting everything off, it seems like Netflix is eventually going to get the Legend of Zelda movie. Now, this is great news for all of you who have Netflix already, which means then you can sit back and relax in bed or at home and just watch the Legend of Zelda movie. Now, of course, it's not going to be right when it releases. It'll probably release a year after the movie officially releases to the world. But I think that this is really cool because then you don't necessarily have to go out in the movie theaters if you don't want to. Of course, movie theaters and watching movies is a great place to start watching your fan favorite movies, but this gives you an alternative. Moving over to the Legend of Zelda. The Lego Legend of Zelda set is really cool. Now, as you can see here, there's been a lot of leaks for this Ocarina of Time sort of Lego set, and it looks really great. It's $130, which honestly, I think for this Lego set isn't the worst thing in the world. Still, it is pretty pricey, but you got Link here, you got Zelda, you got Ganondorf in its final fight. Honestly, it is a really, really cool thing. So I wonder what other Legend of Zelda news and stuff there is going to happen with this. Now that we're seeing a lot of Ocarina of Time things, does this lead you to believe that we are finally going to be seeing Ocarina of Time return? There's been a lot of people talking about Ocarina of Time is going to be making its way to Nintendo Switch. I'm not going to sit here and be hypocritical about it. I've been doing the exact same thing. I believe that it will happen eventually. Well, we already have Ocarina of Time, but a remaster or remake that shows everything might just happen. But imagine a Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time Lego video game. Now we know that Lego does a bunch of different games, like a whole bunch of different games, but imagine a Lego video game. Now, this is really interesting because when Nintendo releases games, sometimes they'll hand the game over to an alternate company to do it, as long as it makes sure that it's exclusive on their platform, which we already seen Lego do this before with the Forza Horizon 4 Lego Edition gameplay. That was a DLC for that game, and it begs the question if we might see the exact same thing. I honestly think that a Lego Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time game would be really cool. It would be cool to see, but there's probably a 10% chance of actually seeing something like that, but I still think that it's really cool. Moving over to Mario. Now, there is a brand new voice actor for Mario, and this might not be a surprise or shock to you, but it seems here that Kevin Afghani, I'm probably going to say that really wrong, says Charles Martinet is amazing. So the original voice actor for Mario, he's like, this guy's amazing. So, yeah, overall, it's just some fun, good things that are coming here. Like, good things to represent Charles Martinet as Mario, and it's overall really cool. So if you're really happy for Charles Martinet and being great with Mario, well then hit the thumbs up button. Moving over to the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, there's been some recent leaks about a Nintendo Switch 2, a different system, a new model kit. Now, this is something that I've talked about yesterday, but I'm going to briefly summarize it in probably 1 minute. Now, the next system, it's not confirmed to be a Nintendo Switch 2. It's not confirmed to be a Switch 2 OLED or a Switch 2 Lite or a Switch 2 whatever, but it seems like it's regarding Nintendo Switch 2 at some point. So, might this be a brand new addition to the Switch 2? It might be too early to get a new version of the Switch 2, but maybe a new edition for the 40th anniversary of the Legend of Zelda series, for something with Pokémon. This could make a lot of sense. But it also does make sense to see a Nintendo Switch 2 Lite, because one of the big downsides of the Switch 2 is that it's super, super big and makes your hands all fuzzy after holding it for a long, long time. So a Switch 2 Lite would make sense. Also, you could get rid of some RAM so it wouldn't be so expensive and sell it to you for like $300. That would be really awesome, and it'd give everyone the chance to buy a Nintendo Switch 2. So if you bought yourself Final Fantasy VII Remake, it seems like the preload on Nintendo Switch 2 is 90 gigabytes. So what exactly does this mean? Well, 90 gigabytes is pretty much half of the system storage that you get base. Unless you go and buy a microSD expansion card, well then you can download maybe 2 games. And that's definitely one of the issues with Nintendo Switch 2. And speaking of expansion cards, those are actually going up in price because of the RAM shortage. Now, not only do we have a RAM shortage, but we also have an SSD storage, what contains sorta SSD memory, but the micro SD variants of those cards. A whole bunch of other things are going out of stock, so honestly, everything's gonna be wonky for the Nintendo as a whole. So anyways, what are your thoughts on this? Do you find this very interesting or not so interesting? Thank you so much for watching. Consider to hit the like button, maybe subscribing if you're new. We do a bunch of different Nintendo content on this channel, and I would really appreciate you joining our journey to 10,000 subscribers. So anyways, thank you so much. Have a fantastic day and see you in the next one.